If you want to know what that stands for, and what in the world has to do with my intro, feel free to ask me. Well, here we are. We have finally reached the end of the Twilight movies. I am so excited. I even prepared a warm-up shot so that when this is over, I will go to the bar and drink my memories of Twilight away. Words cannot describe how horrid and bland and how terrible. Oh! Blue bugs, black blood. Blue bugs, black blood. What did it do to die today in a minute or two till 2? A thing distinctly hard to say, yet harder still to do. And there'll be a tattoo at 20 to 2, a rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-2, and a dragon will come in the beat of drum, a minute 2 to 2 today, a minute 2 to 2. Okay, I'm sorry, everyone. It's just, I was going to do a joke about Twilight acting that somehow had to do with Mitt Romney and Chinese people or some stupid crap like that, but just, I come from a family of actors, and I don't bring Christopher Waltz to shame, heaven forbid, but I'm a decent enough actor that will make my great-grandparents from my mother's side proud. But just this wretched thing they think is acting. I mean, do you have any idea what this does to your left cheekbone? Just, motherfucker, this hurts. Oh, okay, just... Okay, I'm calm. Okay, I'm calm. Just... Here we are, Breaking Dawn Part 2. So the story of the very last Twilight movie is... Wait, if you don't want to... You know what? Screw it. No one really cares whether or not I spoil what this movie's generally about, and maybe not for any of my other reviews to begin with. So from now on, I'm not gonna do that whole if you don't want to know, just go to this part of the timeline thing anymore. If you actually like that, feel free to comment and let me know. So maybe I'll do it, but yeah, I think it's done. Okay, so to cut it short, Bella's a vampire now, so it seems like she and Edward are gonna finally live happily ever after with their newborn daughter Renesmee. But then their vampire cousin Irene sees Renesmee and thinks she's a immortal child or whatever. So she comes to the Volturi and says, hey, they have an immortal child, we gotta destroy them. So Alice foresees that they're going to do just that, so they gather a whole bunch of other vampires to stand witness and try to stop the Volturi from killing them all. Okay, so in the bottom line, this movie succeeds where Eclipse did not in terms of actually coming out as a decent movie. Because the thing is, with Eclipse, if you haven't seen the my pre-Breaking Dawn videos that I put up where I talked about all the other films that go before this one, my main thought with Eclipse was that it was a guilty pleasure because it had a bunch of action and comedy and a couple other stuff that I found rather entertaining. And if they kept at it, and if the acting and stuff like that improved, I could have given that a 60 when I reviewed that. But they didn't, and you know, we still had pretty bad acting and the taking the shirt off and all that crap. So I gave it a 50 instead when I reviewed that movie. But this one manages to actually succeed in being a decent movie, because the action is much better and the comedy is very nice, and dare I say it, some of the acting was a fair bit of improvement. I guess I'd mostly say that, well, this is mostly the case with like Robert Pattinson and whoever's that guy that plays Carlisle. Because in cases like them, they still were pretty expressionless, but I think roughly similar to how Christian Bale was in The Dark Knight Rises when he was being Bruce Wayne. They were, at least when it came to actually talking, saying their lines, they were much louder and clearer. So they weren't so mumbly and dull and stuff like that when they were talking. They sounded more human. Maybe that's not right the word for it, but you get what I'm saying. So with that said, the acting was kind of more bearable. Except for Michael Sheen as Aro, or whatever the main Volturi's leader's name is, he was just weird. I guess he was, I don't know. I never really liked the guy, to be clear, but I guess this was where he kind of overdid getting a lot. Just no. Even with these other cases, some of the other acting was still bad. I mean, Kristen Stewart and Taylor Laurent were still pretty expressionist, made us smile during one random particular scene, but after that, they're just the way we know them. But even then, this movie tended to drag a lot. Well, maybe not a lot per se, but there were a lot of scenes that I felt they could have been shorter, or at least not in the movie at all. Just make this movie didn't necessarily need to be 2 hours, in my opinion. I mean, they've already did so much, or at least covered so much of the book from Breaking Down Part 1, that this one didn't necessarily need to be 2 hours. But what really, and I mean really, freaking pissed me off was the ending. I mean, not like the very, very ending. That was actually very nice. But like how things ended between them and the Volturi, I thought was complete mother freaking crap. It was just the dumbest thing they could have done. I'm gonna make a separate video so you guys can understand what I'm talking about and why I hate it so much. But for those of you who haven't seen the movie, for now, let's just say that if it wasn't for what they did in the end, this movie could have been a good movie. It's decent, but it could have been good. So that's basically my review for Breaking Dawn Part 2. We still get the horrid acting and some of the really other dumb stuff. Only a tiny bit, and actually in all fairness, about how Jacob didn't take off his shirt so much. But it at least gave us some nice action and comedy and a couple other stuff here and there, like good effects and stuff like that. I forgot to mention that. That actually made it a nice movie. So, altogether, I give this movie a 60% out of 100. So, did Twilight manage to actually give us a kind of good movie? With this one, yes. Does that mean we can forgive everything we put up with this entire franchise? No! But who cares? There's no more movies. There may be reboots and stuff like that, but until then, who cares? These movies are over. We're free!
Oh, I promised myself I wouldn't cry. Ah!
Hey, you know what this calls for? A party!
Darn straight, it's finally time to celebrate that this franchise is over. And while we may not think as 4-year-oldish as Pinkie Pie does, it's still time for celebration. I mean, sure, we have this 50 Shades of Grey thing and talk of a reboot or TV series or some crap like that, but until then, let's just live life as if it never existed. And I don't know about you, but I intend to see to it that's done by taking this shot, heading to the bar, and drinking all my memories of Twilight away. And that's just what I am going to do. So, if you want to see more video reviews, feel free to check them out on my channel. But if you want to see more, feel free to log on to my blog at hacksreviews.blogspot.com, where I have hundreds of reviews that you can read and enjoy. Until then, everyone, I'm Hack. And if you want to know what that stands for and what in the world has to do with my intro, feel free to meet me at the bar and ask me.
Now everybody's dying, so until our tears are dried, we'll drink and drink and drink and drink, and then we'll drink some more. We'll dance and sing and fight until the early morning light, then we'll throw up, pass out, wake up, and then we'll drink in once again.